Welcome to Inside News. I'm Marcel. Today is October 17th, 2025, and these are the major stories shaping Africa. Tonight, we cover a continent in flux, from a military takeover reshaping Madagascar's future to a political standoff threatening to paralyze Cameroon. We'll also report on Egypt's tough new economic measures, escalating security challenges in Nigeria, and a nation in mourning in Kenya. From political transitions to new economic alliances, we have the comprehensive coverage you need. We begin tonight with major developments across the continent. In North Africa, we turn to Egypt, where the government is making significant changes to its economic policy as it navigates national budget pressures and the terms of a major international loan. The government has just implemented its second fuel price hike of the year, a move aimed directly at curbing state subsidies and reducing the country's budget deficit. The price increases range from 10.5% to 12.9%. Specifically, diesel now costs 17.50 Egyptian pounds per liter. Gasoline prices have also jumped, with 80 octane priced at 17.75 pounds per liter, 92 octane at 19.25 pounds, and 95 octane at 21 pounds. This policy is a key component of an $8 billion loan agreement with the International Monetary Fund, which has urged Cairo to reduce subsidies. Following this latest increase, officials have announced a commitment to freeze domestic fuel prices for at least the next year. From Cairo's economic pressures, we move our focus to West Africa's security and political landscape. The West Africa region is facing a complex array of challenges, from critical security incidents and political friction in Nigeria to a high-stakes presidential race in Ivory Coast. We begin in Nigeria, where security remains a grave concern. In the northwestern Zamfara state, an ambush by gunmen has left 5 police officers and 3 members of a local paramilitary group dead. State Governor Dauda Lawal confirmed the attack, which underscores the persistent threat posed by armed groups in the region, where such attacks are tragically common. Meanwhile, the Nigerian government is pushing back against international political claims. Officials have firmly rejected allegations from U.S. Senator Ted Cruz of a Christian genocide in the country. Information Minister Idris Muhammad stated that both Muslims and Christians are victims of the ongoing violence. To provide context, data from the Armed Conflict Location and Event Data Program shows that since January 2020, targeted attacks where victim identity was a reported factor resulted in 317 deaths among Christians, while 417 deaths were recorded among Muslims. Shifting to electoral politics, the presidential campaign is heating up in Ivory Coast. Former First Lady Simone Gbagbo, a surprise inclusion on the ballot and known as the Iron Lady, is actively campaigning, while incumbent President Alassane Ouattara is widely expected to win. Gbagbo is calling for a peaceful democratic process. In a direct appeal to those organizing protests, she stated, "Doing brutal, violent actions. I don't think it pays off. I would like to call on them to abandon this path and choose the voice of the vote." Now we turn our attention to a deepening crisis unfolding in Central Africa. A severe political and economic crisis is deepening in Cameroon, where the aftermath of a contentious presidential election is fueling widespread uncertainty and unrest. Tensions have escalated dramatically after opposition candidate Issa Chiroma Bakari claimed victory over 92-year-old incumbent Paul Biya, alleging systematic vote tampering. The political fallout has been tangible. An office of the ruling RDPC party was set ablaze in the city of Chang, and street protests featuring burning barricades have erupted in the economic capital Douala. This political instability is compounding a deep economic crisis that is paralyzing the nation. Small business owners are feeling the impact directly. shopkeeper Cabral Wilson notes his sales have dropped as people save their money, while taxi driver Pierre Jacques describes the situation bluntly. Everything is blocked, nothing works. Economist Eugene Nyambal provides a stark analysis, calling the country's recent economic record negative. He warns that urgent action is needed to address critical issues like high youth unemployment, which now stands at over 35%. While Cameroon grapples with the fallout of its election, Kenya confronts its own political legacy with the passing of a national icon. In Kenya, a mood of national mourning for one of the country's most towering political figures has been marked by both solemn tributes and underlying tensions. Thousands gathered in Nairobi for the state funeral of former Prime Minister Raila Odinga, led by President William Ruto. Odinga, who died at age 80, is being remembered as a freedom fighter and a central force in Kenyan politics, who made 5 unsuccessful but influential bids for the presidency. However, the funeral was preceded by a tragic incident on Thursday, when security forces killed at least 4 individuals during a public vigil at the stadium where his body was lying in state. Odinga is set to be buried on Sunday in his ancestral home of Bondo in Siaya County. From a nation saying farewell to a political giant, we journey south for our final regional report. Our focus now shifts to southern Africa, with a dramatic political overthrow in Madagascar and a major new economic partnership for South Africa. First, to Madagascar, where the military has seized control of the government. Colonel Michael Randrianirina has been sworn in as the nation's new leader after ousting President Andry Rajoelina. The coup followed weeks of youth-led street protests against the rising cost of living and government corruption. The international reaction has been swift, with the United Nations condemning the takeover and the African Union suspending Madagascar's membership. The economic consequences have been immediate, with reports of looted shops and a complete standstill in the vital tourism sector. This is a devastating blow for a nation where over 75% of the population lives below the poverty line. In contrast, South Africa has announced a pivotal new economic alliance with the European Union. The EU has pledged an €11.5 billion investment to support the country's transition away from coal, which currently generates nearly 85% of its electricity. This partnership comes amid rising trade tensions with the United States. Washington has imposed 30% tariffs on South African exports, potentially threatening up to 100,000 jobs in the automotive industry and jeopardizing access to the American market under the AGOA agreement. Describing the new collaboration, European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen called South Africa a pioneer of clean energy for the entire continent. That concludes our main reports for this evening. Thank you for watching Inside News. I'm Marcel. Stay informed, stay connected, and have a good night.